Welcome back to Orange Track Outlaws. Today we're going to tackle this 3 blind mice 50's challenge build here. What I have here is the Hot Wheels, I think they call it the La Troca. It is modeled after a 1950 Chevy pickup. So I've got some pretty cool plans for this thing. It's gonna look totally different when it's over. New paint, new look, new wheels. Pretty excited to get busy on this guy. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna get started here, and we're going to bring in our little project here, our 1950 Chevy. Kind of a crazy paint job here. Gold chassis, maroon paint, all that's going to go away. So what we're going to do here, get started, we're going to drill our post and get all our parts apart here and kind of see what we got to work with. As usual, we're going to use our small drill bit, get them posts drilled out, pilot holes, and we'll take our larger bit, buzz off the head of them posts there, just as they get under the chassis there, and you can bring in your screwdriver, pop the chassis off, and should be able to get at everything pretty easily then. As long as you got your post drilled down far enough, this thing should pop up. But looks like I got myself a little burr on there that's stopping it, but you can either hit it again with the drill bit, or it'll come off there. You just gotta work it, wiggle it back and forth, it'll pop off. So what we got here, we got our truck. There's no interior. Looks like the windshield is solid black. It's kind of boring, but it is what it is. We got some gold rims here. We got a gold chassis. We're gonna have to strip all that off. That's all got to come off. I'm actually you see the bed is riveted on there. We're gonna drill that thing out, and we're actually gonna take this bed off and get rid of it. What I kind of had envisioned here is is somewhat of a semi truck, a lowrider semi truck conversion. I want to put some big old chrome stacks on there. Really transform this truck into something cool. So to do that, we're gonna get rid of this bed. So same post, drill that thing out, pry it off. Should be good to go after that. Not gonna need that bed anymore. And actually, there's a little tab on the back of that body that's going to be helpful in mounting the rear of our bed here. So I had this spare parts laying around, and I thought this thing would look really cool as kind of like the extended body to a semi. It's got some real big tires in the back, some real big fenders, nice chrome wheels. Trying to put these things side by side here, give you like kind of an idea of what I'm thinking. So that's basically the idea there. So getting it worked out, first thing we're going to do here is get our truck in the sandblast booth, get all that paint off there, so we can start creating our extra pieces and parts and getting this thing mounted together. Excuse me, big fan of the sandblast booth as opposed to the paint stripper gels. You can see how easy this thing is getting right off real fast. Less mess, less time. All you got to do when you get this thing out of the booth here is it's got like a little sandy haze to it. Hit it with the wire wheel, it'll come right off, and it'll actually look pretty shiny. So you can either sand it or steel wool it if you want to, or you can really just clean it off and and start painting over it if you'd like. But just about done here. Stripping off the on our cab. And you can get a look at our body now after it's been cleaned. And I went ahead, had to cut the chassis in half too, because I'm only keeping the front, not the bed part. What I'm looking to do here is put some dual smokestacks on the back. So I took some of my thicker tubing I have, and I'm going to try to JB weld them on the back of this thing. I cut out some notches in the back of the rod, so I can get some of that weld to stick through there, and when it hardens, it ought to be able to kind of lock that stack into place, just to make it a little more secure. I did slash cut the top at about a 45-degree angle to give that kind of a cool look. Yeah, I'm just gonna get these stacks set on here in JB Weld, and basically just put it down for the day, and should be good to work with the next day. I just want to make sure I don't bump it or anything. So we got our stacks on there. We're going to give this body start giving it a little paint job. We got our Autoborn sealer primer. We're going to lay that down first. Got a pretty cool candy pearl turquoise color. I've been wanting to try out, planned out for this truck. It's just going to be really a kind of a hodgepodge of a couple different paints so I get the color that I like. But first things first, get this thing primed up. We got our windshield visor, got to get that thing primed up too. Same thing, Autoborn sealer primer, light tack coats to start, and we'll come back and put on just a couple heavier coats. This body here was really in not bad of shape. There were a couple casting lines over the front fenders. I filed those things down, and over the hood, filed them down, and you're not going to be able to see it, and covered with the seal, good to go. So still working on our second coat of sealer. Now just want to make sure you got all the corners, all the nooks, crannies covered. Make sure you got good coverage. So we're going to get started. I want to do opaque black as our base coat before we lay our candy pearl down. I want that dark undercoat look to it. So we're going to use our opaque black and just hit everything here nice and light first time as usual. Just make sure it's all covered, but hit light, come back in 5 or 10 minutes, another couple coats, and should be good to go. Visor is going to be the same color, so we want to hit that with some black too before we put our mid coat on. So I wanted to take the chassis here. I went ahead and got all that gold stripped off in some super clean, so it ended up being this opaque white color. So I'm gonna go ahead and paint this thing black. The overall truck's chassis is gonna be black with chrome accents, so go ahead and knock this out. If you have painted these, if you have airbrushed these chassis, it does take a while. You got to paint it real light, real slow, at least for the first couple times till you get good coverage, and then you can lay the black on just a little heavier. But until you get everything covered up, it does tend to splotch a little bit. So I'm gonna move on and go for coat 2 here on the body. Make sure you get all all the hard to reach places around the fenders, around the stacks. Just make sure you get everything covered. Chassis here, we're going to go for coat 2. It actually took the first coat really well, so I can lay the second a little heavier than usual. So taking my time here, definitely don't want any runs. You just looking for the nice solid color, no air splotches or nothing. So we're going to get to painting our turquoise candy pearl like turquoise. So we're going to start with just a basic turquoise color, and that's going to be the predominant color. But we're going to throw in there a little fastback green, which is basically a gold blue mix. It looks kind of green, so to get that pearl gold and pearl blue in there, I'm going to some candy emerald green in there to darken it up a little bit, and we're going to put a bit of our hot rod sparkle white in there, and just to give it just a little bit of a bluer color than the green, I'll put a little blue, and then the normal 40-30 40-12 mixture. So I know it's kind of a lot, but here's a look at my paint cup here. You can kind of see what it looks like. It looks pretty blue in that in the cup, but it's going to come out a little more to like the teal look. So we're going to start spraying. We're going to start off nice and light over black. First coat is going to be not too easy to see, but this is just one of those where you got to build and build and build until you get the color that you want. So just make sure we hit all the hard to reach places, get a nice quick coat on there. You can see it's really starting to take shape already. You can see some of that hot rod sparkle in there in the light. Got to make sure we hit our windshield visor as well, because that thing's going to be the same color with the little chrome accents on her as well. So we're going to go in now, coat 2, lay it on a little bit more. Color's really starting to pop now. You can get a pretty good look at it. So really turning out pretty cool. Liking how the green's starting to show through. You can really get a good look at that hot rod sparkle in the light. You can see that. You can see the bouncing off the light there. Depending on how you look at it, you can see some green, you can see some blue, just a little gold there. So pretty much what I was going for. I like how it's turning out. So as we continue on here, I'm going to do another coat here. I'm just looking for a little deeper, darker of a color. So I'm going to hit this thing up one more time, and before I hit it with the clear, but I'm going to put my details on before I do that too. But I'm kind of liking how this color's turning out. It's really looking like it's popping. Hit the visor mirror one more time so we have the same deep color. And you see here, I got it all detailed up. I got the stacks looking chrome. I got the 2K clear on it. And you can see how that candy pearl and the hot rod sparkle is just really popping in the light. I did put the visor mirror on already. We're going to add some assembly here. Basically the rear, there wasn't much to do there, other than I just stripped it, painted it a gloss black. I did have some extra some fuel tanks in the scrap pile, so I went ahead and glued those on, made it look like it had some fuel tanks. And I did have to cut out a kind of like a little car out of styrene, as I guess part of the flatbed look. But if you look at our cab, we got our wheels mounted in there, looking sweet. Chrome grille. It's really shaping up to be a sweet truck. So the rear is really going to screw on just basically right there in the back, where the old bed screwed on. I'm going to take a bigger screw than usual, a little bit a longer one, but other than that, you know, the bed's going to screw together in the back, and then it's going to connect in the front with the screw, and it actually ought to go together, you know, a lot easier than I expected. But here's a little look at the little bed cover, kind of like the bed look. I painted it the same color cab, to keep that color, you know, continuing on through the back. I think it'll contrast good with the black fenders, the chrome wheels. So I'm going to start assembling, you know, the rear, starting from the rear, and then I'm going to kind of sandwich the middle of it up on that mounting tab on the cab, and then run the screw through it and try to sync it all up together there. So, you know, basically I got my front and back there, and I just need to marry those up in the middle and run my screw through to get them set. So this thing's looking real sweet. I can't wait to get this thing on there and see how it looks all together. So I'm just going to get my screw started, make sure all the holes line up in the bed cover and the body, and like I said, basically just try to sandwich that tab in between there. I did try it before I painted, and it did work. So hopefully it'll go together without issue right now. So before I show you the final reveal here, let's I want to take a step back and see what we started with here. This is our 1950 Chevy truck, the Hot Wheels La Troca version. Basically a pretty cool lowrider 1950 Chevy. But what I had in mind was somewhat of a flatbed style with some huge rear chrome wheels. I really like the visor, the windshield visor on this, but I wanted some chrome stacks on it, something kind of crazy cool. So this is what we started with, and here comes what our finished product was. I think this thing turned out amazing. The rear on this, the big rear chrome wheels, the candy pearl, turquoise paint, chrome stacks. I don't know, you guys, I'm blown away. I love it. It turned out awesome. Thanks again to the Three Blind Mice guys for, you know, holding another challenge here. If you haven't seen already, please check out my other 50's challenge video, which is a 57 Chevy Bel Air hot rod. I think that thing looks pretty sick. Got a nice paint job on it, put some working headlights in it. It's pretty cool. So anyway guys, thanks again for watching. If you do like what you see, please like, share, and subscribe. Check out some of my race videos, and check out the other Three Blind Mice participants. Some cool things going on. So thanks again guys, and see you next time.